All right, so I'm recording. Welcome to our open house. Thank you for your flexibility. I know I had 3 open houses on the website originally when I was, back in the summer feeling really ambitious and really excited. And then, the plate got really full. Our master gardeners are really full. Doing lots of work. So I appreciate everybody's flexibility. And then this one was going to be in person and hybrid. And it just felt way more manageable to do it this way, and also gives you a good kind of taste of how the actual training feels and the way that we engage in the training as well. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to try and keep the chat box up so I can see. So go ahead and type in questions as you go, but I'll also stop in the middle to answer questions as well. Give you time for that as well. All righty. So first, before we get started, I just want to acknowledge that that Pierce County is on the land of the traditional land of the Puyallup and Nisqually and Squaxin Island and Muckleshoot people. WSU is a land grant institution and recognizes that the Morrill Act of 1862 established land grant institutions by providing states with public and federal lands, and oftentimes that land was taken with disregard for treaties. So I think as people who are passionate about being stewards for the environment and land, it's important to take a moment to acknowledge the people who have done that, past, present, and future. All right, so a quick introduction. I'm Jayla. I use she, her, and they, them pronouns, and I am the program coordinator for the Master Gardener program in Pierce County. So there are Master Gardener programs all the way through the state in all different counties, and so I manage just the one in the county, in Pierce County. Right now I'm in the Human Services building in Tacoma on 38th Street, so I'm in a little office tucked away along with my colleagues in 4-H and SNAP-Ed in WSU Extension. So a little context around that. I coordinate 300 plus volunteers throughout the county, designing and implementing the training that folks are applying for. I am processing your applications. I'm sending all of your correspondence. I'm booking all of the trainers for the training and supporting the interns as they go through their whole training, as well as helping and supporting all of our veterans and our certified master gardeners while they participate. So it's one staff member for the entire county. So all the patience is very much appreciated. I'm really passionate about this program. I am a community educator and a community volunteer and organizer. I started this position in February of last year, so it was right at the jump of last year's intern group. So I consider myself a 2022 volunteer, learning about the program alongside them. So I'm really excited to start this one with my feet a little bit more on the ground and a little bit more knowledgeable about the program and the support that folks need during this training. So that's me. I live in Tacoma over by Wright Park with my cat, and I have a community garden in central Tacoma, and love just being in nature and love being in community, and especially in gardens. That's a little bit about me. So today I'm gonna just give you a quick overview of the whole program so you kind of know where the training is in context, because I think people have like different understandings of what a master gardener is and different relationships to that. So I want to make sure that people know what the program is and how it works. And then we'll go over the training application and enrollment process. And then we'll go over the actual training and how it works and all of those fun, juicy details. And hopefully in between those sections, we'll get some questions and answers as well. And I know I've been getting some emails of, I sent an application, I don't know if you received it. There's some setting on there that you were supposed to be getting emails to confirm that, but also at the end, if you are one of those people, I can double check and make sure live that you did send in your application. So a little history that we are so excited about is next year is our 50th anniversary. The Master Gardener program started in Pierce County 50 years ago. And we are so excited to be celebrating that. And now this is a program that is emulated all the way across the world, in the UK and in South Korea, all over our nation as well. So we are so excited next year to be celebrating our 50th anniversary. We're telling lots of stories. There's going to be lots of parties. So we are really, really proud of that, and really proud to be the foundation of that grassroots and sociological movement. So that is a little bit of that. These are some really cool pictures of the faculty that started the program in the Tacoma Mall. They're running a clinic. All right, so the purpose of the Master Gardener program is to connect residents and communities to research-based horticulture information, creating healthy and sustainable environments while improving personal and collective quality of life. So above all, we are teachers and community educators and community organizers. So we teach and we connect people with the resources that they need around creating healthy environments and sustainable environments. I think it's important, I think for me, to remember every time I get a group together, Master Gardeners, that we all remember why we're here. Our values are usually really long sentences, but when I do a quick presentation like this, I like to boil it down to those juicy words. We value research and discovery, so a lifelong learning. There's a lot of curiosity. A lot of Master Gardeners are excited about learning, are excited about discovery, and learning new things. We honor diversity, inclusivity, because we know that that offers more discovery and more learning. We value integrity in knowledge and communication. We value stewardship and sustainability of our land, but also our resources and our time. We value collaboration with each other, with our community members, with our community partners. And the last sentence is, we are a dynamic and responsive program where knowledge inspires change. So those are our values as a program. And the WSU Master Gardener program addresses 9 important sociological and environmental issues by teaching research-based horticulture information. So take a look at those different icons and those words, and go ahead, if you can, type in the chat which one you're like, ooh, the most excited about. Which one we got here? Climate change, clean water, water conservation, local food, pollinators, soil health, plant biodiversity, nearby nature, and wildfire preparedness. So thinking about which one you look at and you're like, that's the one for me. I know, right? How do you pick one? The other graphic I can share, it's on the website, is the way that they all integrate together. I do like the language that we have on this graph, but they are definitely all connected. So if you want to list all 9, I wouldn't hate it. So we pick these program priorities because we want people to have the important skills and abilities to help mitigate the challenges, and to understand that everyone has a role in creating healthy and sustainable environments. And these we use just to kind of help guide and make sure we're kind of going in the right direction. So every time we develop programming, every time we say yes to a partnership, every time we go and speak to a women's club or at the library, we always want to make sure that we are somehow uplifting these priorities, so we remember to stay engaged in what's important. Awesome. Local food. Awesome. Soil health. Yes. Lots of local food. I think that was a big thing this year. Folks got really excited about. Awesome. Very cool. So many things. So many things. All right. Let's see here. So becoming a Master Gardener. First, you apply to go to the training. You engage in the training, which is an academic portion of reading and quizzes, and we'll get into that. Then a part of that training is an internship where you have hands-on learning, you're engaged in our programming, you are going throughout the county to see all the different ways that people engage in our programming, and then you become certified. And that's how you become a Master Gardener. So every year, once you become certified, you have to reapply and recommit to your certification. And we'll get into the next slide is about what those yearly requirements are, but it isn't an automatic recertification, just kind of like with CPR or any kind of like certified thing like that. You want to re-engage and recommit and also relearn every year. So we'll get into that here. So once you are trained and you do your internship and you get your certification every year, so this is after the training, we're kind of fast forwarding through time. Once you become a certified, every year you're expected to log all of your hours on our database, our volunteer database. So every year that's 25 hours of approved volunteer activity. So that's working in a demonstration garden. That is volunteering in our clinics at our farmers markets. That's doing demonstrations with children, engaging in school gardens, all these different things that you can do to teach and support our program. Other things like meeting as a group to make sure you're documenting your information or developing curriculum. Anytime you're supporting our program, that also counts as a volunteer activity. And then you have an additional 10 hours of continued learning. So a continuing education, or what we say in the community, CE. And so there's 10 hours and there's an abundance of information. Some people get up to 45 hours a year, right? So that's learning. You're taking workshops that might be online, like a Zoom call like this. It might be in person at the demonstration gardens. Some of them are offered internally by other Master Gardeners in our program. Some are offered throughout the state as a Master Gardener program, and some are offered through our partnerships and our programs. So Harvest Pierce County oftentimes does amazing things, and the library does amazing things. So those all count as continuing education. And then also making sure that we have an updated background check. And if you are doing that with the program that we have, it will refresh it every 3 years. So you're not doing that every year. But we always, as public servants and public educators and community organizers, we want to make sure that everyone's safe and has the credentials to work with the public. And I also crossed off the vaccination status because it just changed today. So we will get into that in a minute. So any questions about the program in general and what it means to be a volunteer? So you can unmute, or you can write in the chat. I'm going to get all the way into the training, so save your questions for the training.
I had one real quick about who covers the cost for the background screenings.
So you can pay for the background screening, which is $14, or I can pay for it. You just got to let me know, and it's just a difference between the code that you input on the website. So, and you don't need to tell me why you need it. You just ask for it and I'll give it to you. All right. Are the volunteer events arranged through a Master Gardener program? And is that, okay, yeah, so all of the CE has to be approved by me or another state coordinator or WSU wide. So there is a limit on that. So typically, if you read a book about ferns, we don't count that. But if you read a book about ferns and create a presentation and offer that to other Master Gardeners or go teach that at a library, we definitely count that. So it's more about engaging with your community and engaging with the learning that we're all doing together. Does that answer the question? So it's a little bit of a, if you are going to a conference that's all about climate change and you know it's going to be amazing, you're going to learn a lot, email me and send me that link and say, is this something that qualifies? And then I'd be able to check. And if I have a question about that, I can, climb the ladder and figure out if that does work. It's just a way to kind of regulate and make sure that we are still learning research-based information. Awesome, good questions. Any other questions about the volunteer role? There's I think some folks have questions about, I had this misconception when I wanted to be a Master Gardener, is that you become a Master Gardener and then you just have your certificate and then you're good to go, right? It's like when you receive a bachelor's degree or some kind of certificate like that, you just receive it and you can put it on your resume and then you're done. Becoming a Master Gardener is becoming a community educator. So you're a part of the program and you have to maintain that. It's not a passive certification. That was something I learned by applying for this position. That was a myth that was busted when I was learning about the program. Good question, Dottie. Do you work in teams or volunteer alone? So generally speaking, especially when in training and as an intern, you are never by yourself because you are not certified yet. So you're always with other veteran or certified master gardeners learning how to do it. So you'll never be alone that first year. And then generally speaking, because we are community educators, we want you to be with other volunteers, partially because we get questions and we get ideas, and it's harder to answer questions like if you're at a clinic to do that alone. And we also just want to cultivate safety and collaboration. But there are times when you might go and do a training at the library and you'll be the only person presenting that training. And like right now, I'm the only one presenting this training in my office. So there are moments where you would be doing that alone. Generally speaking, if you're in public and in our gardens, we always want people to be together for safety and for community. Good question. All right. Another thing that I learned about the volunteer role is that we provide all of our education for free. So everything we provide for our communities is free. There will be times when we will put on big workshop series or, kind of in-depth things. A lot of if we're charging for that, we're not charging for our service. We're charging for the building, we're charging for refreshments, but everything that we provide is for free. And we cannot be independently contracted. So you can't hire a master gardener to come to your house and teach you how to prune your tree. You can come to us and learn about how to prune your tree. You could host a book club in your yard and invite a master gardener to teach you how to prune your tree, but it's more about a community education and more about providing that knowledge for free. The intern training is for 1 year. And then once you become certified, every year you want to renew that certification. I think I answered that question. Okay, we'll get into the training. So 2023 training program. So first of all, I want to be really clear about the time commitment because it is a heavy time commitment. So we are going to start with 16 Zoom lectures. So just like this, really similar to this, you'll be logging onto a Zoom call. There'll be a presentation. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I wanted to am I still sharing my screen? There we go. Okay. And then those will be recorded just like I'm recording it right now, and they will be emailed out and shared partially so veterans who have been certified can relearn things about botany. I see Sandy is here. Thank you, Sandy. She's a certified master gardener. She's coming and she's participating, and other people could watch it and learn from that as well. So you don't have to necessarily attend each Zoom call. We obviously would love to have you there, but it's something that you can do asynchronously is what we say. And then there's going to be 2 outdoor trainings where you will be at our 2 different demonstration gardens. We have one in Puyallup by the Extension Center, and we have one at the Semmel Homestead Garden Park out in Gig Harbor. So I definitely want to make sure that everyone gets to go out there, and you'll learn some hands-on learning. You'll get to see the gardens, you'll get tours. So those are 2 in-person ones that we really want to make sure people can be there. You have an online module where there's assignments, there's quizzes, there's lots of YouTubes, there's lots of learning. That's the academic portion. It's on and we'll get into that a little bit more. It's on an online platform called Canvas. Each training days are about 4 hours long. The Zoom calls are about 4 hours long. The online study on the academic portion is about 2 to 4 hours a week, depending on how much time it takes you to absorb and read knowledge or read the chapters. And then after that training, it's a 40-hour internship. So approximately 150 plus hours for our entire year, starting January all the way to November, December. So I want to be really clear because people will open those the training platform and be like, whoa, I'm supposed to do this all. I've allotted this time, and it feels really overwhelming. So I really want to be clear with folks about how much time it takes. It's really vigorous, but like I said, once you become certified, it's just the expectation is 25 hours of volunteering and 10 of learning. So the training is really rigorous. All right, so the cost, I also want to be really transparent with the cost. So the training fee is $150, and that needs to come in to my office via check. The online platform, Canvas, is $75 and is paid for electronically. The mandatory national background screening is $14, and that is also paid electronically. I can help assist with any of those costs. If you need it, just let me know. And then there is, so all of those costs are non-refundable. Once you submit them, they are processed and they are gone. So if you find yourself a couple months in realizing that it's something that you actually can't tackle, or you're no longer interested in it, those are non-refundable. And then there's those additional costs of travels. Like I said, one of our gardens is in Gig Harbor. So if you're on this side of the bridge, you'll have a bridge toll. If you're at Bonnie Lake and you're driving all the way to, you know, gas prices. We have lots of fun swag like hoodies and vests and lanyards. Those all cost, have a cost. And some of our CE events, some of our extra learning events do cost money. And usually when like right now I'm offering a CE class, I think that's $15. It's an LGBTQ kind of 101 class that one of our partners are doing. Really excited about offering that. And oftentimes I will say, if you need support, just let me know and I'm happy to pay for those things. So I want to be clear that there's a non-refundable $239 total. And then those additional travel costs and goodies. We do lots of book sales where the books are really juicy and amazing. Okay, keep it moving. All right, so we are in this kind of realm right now. We have applications opened on September 26th. They are closing at the end of the month. Oh my gosh, is that 10 days from now? Yes, 10 days. So October 31st, I'm going to close it at midnight. And then I've been sorting through all the applications, but by the 10th, I'll let you know if I've accepted the application or if I haven't. And then once that application is accepted, I've given you the good to go. We will need a background check submitted. We'll need all those training fees submitted, and you'll enroll on the learning platform and pay for the learning platform as well. And we want all of that done in a pretty quick turnaround as well, November 20th, partially because we just want everything to be all set and go before the holidays are all up in the swing of everything. So that's the timeline. And then the next slide is about the vaccination verification. This morning, October 21st, I just got the update that they are no longer requiring a vaccination requirement or proof of that for staff, volunteers, or faculty. The past 2 years, we had been requiring documentation of that or folks submitting a waiver or an exemption. So a change, this is, I think you're the first people I've notified of this, so I'm going to be sending this email out soon to the rest of the volunteers to make sure everybody knows we're all on the same page. But just to keep in mind that we're always encouraging folks to use any personal protection or assistant that makes themselves feel safe or comfortable, and just like any other personal assistance that we use, it's never mandated and it is never questioned. And I will always continue to provide programming that feels welcoming and accessible and transparent to everyone. So working really hard to make sure we have hybrid calls, or so folks who don't feel comfortable coming indoors without a mask on, or without other people without masks on, that's still accessible either by recording or Zoom calls. Always want to work to make sure folks understand how many people will be in the room, if there's wheelchair accessible, all those different things. So definitely want to make sure that folks feel comfortable and advocated for. And if you don't feel that way, definitely reaching out and seeing if there's something that I can communicate. All right, so those are the requirements. Okay, so this is the requirement for the training. So this is a lot of text, so I'm going to go through it kind of slowly here. So the requirement for 2023 is a little different than we were doing last year, kind of wiggled it around there. So you'll start your programming in January, and you'll have all the way January through to November to get all of these requirements in. So the first one is participate and engage in our Zoom calls. So attend or watch the lectures. If you miss more than 40%, or if I kind of feel like you're not engaged, or I'm kind of feel like you went off the map, I'm going to be reaching out and saying, are you there? Are you engaging? Are you doing this? I don't have an actual rule about kicking you out or anything like that. It's more about making sure that you're engaged and invested in the program. But generally speaking, if you're missing more than 40%, we're going to have a check-in. We have a mentor program. So each trainee or intern is going to get assigned to a certified master gardener. I usually try to assign them to someone who's close. So someone in Bonnie Lake is connected to someone in Bonnie Lake, and someone on the other side of the bridge is connected to someone on the other side of the bridge. And they're essentially there to do what I wish I could do for all of our interns. They provide that one-on-one connection, one-on-three connection, meet and get coffee, answer your questions, support you in your homework, support you in taking those tests, and making sure that you're feeling engaged, especially because of the Zoom call. It can feel hard to feel connected. And so we definitely use our mentors to do that. Sandy is one of our mentors, so happy she's here, and I'm going to be participating in that program. And then you just kind of get, you're kind of thrown into the community. They'll bring you to things, they'll teach you how to use our platforms and things like that. And then we have 2 in-person training sessions, like I said, one in Puyallup and one in Gig Harbor. This is a priority because I can't record these. These are unique tours of our gardens. There's going to be hands-on things. They are designed to be in person because the information is hard to do on Zoom. So I do really want folks to prioritize those times. That's why I already have the date set. So if you know you're going to be working that day, those are both on Saturdays. I try to make them on the weekends. I did extend the time a little bit on the website. I think it said 9 to 12, and I bumped it up to 9 to 3, which means we'll do a little pack away lunch, because I just have so much I want to give you all and cram into those 2 days. All right, so those are the training days. So then it is expected that you complete and pass all of your online assignments and quizzes. So this is when people get a little like, and I also identify with this, like, oh, cumulative grades and final exams. And so all of our every chapter has a quiz at the end. And you are expected to pass a collective 80% of all of the quizzes. So there's a cumulative 80% of all of the little ones, and then another cumulative 80% or higher for the final one. So, but all of them are, you can start and stop whenever you want. They're all open book. It is not expected that you are memorizing anything. It's more that we're training you on how to read and remember how to get to the answers. So as a master gardener, we do, the word master gardener kind of is intimidating. It's like, I have to remember all these things about botany and bugs and all this stuff. It's more about being a learner and someone who is going to get a question of, how do I solve this problem? And you're going to remember which way to go and how to ask questions and persevere and try and find those clues. So I really, 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 really want to just point out and say over and over that it's open book, open note, and you can stop and pause and take breaks. You can print out the chapters. There's lots of ways for you to be successful. But that's the quiz, the final exam, and also all the little smaller quizzes. And then the intention is that all of your academic things on Canvas, which is the learning platform, is all finished by May 31st. So we can finish it all up, wrap it up, and then move towards our internship. So there's the training and then there's the internship. So you'll finish that training up, or the academic portion, and then you can get your hands in the dirt and start volunteering and engaging. And then our certified master gardeners all produce intern projects. So what that looks like is different from year to year, but you get to choose a project that a master gardener has designed. So that might be rebuilding a fence. It might be doing research on climate change. We have lots of speakers bureaus events where you can present on things that you're excited about. So this is a project for you to get your hands into the community and get you excited and connected with all the different parts of our community. So the breakdown of your 40 hours of volunteer service from the end of May 31st, right? So June all the way to the very end in November, you need to be contributing 10 hours in our plant clinics. We have one here in our office, and then we also have some at our McClendon's, or you might have seen us at hardware stores like that and at farmers markets. So you will log 10 hours answering questions and learning how to answer questions at plant clinics. You're going to contribute 10 hours at our demonstration garden. So that's at the Puyallup and the Gig Harbor Garden. So we want to make sure that you're engaged with those volunteers. You're learning about how those gardens work. You know who to contact when you're excited about something. You have 10 hours on the intern project. Like I said, it's a small project where you're investing in something and sharing. And then 10 hours of whatever else that you're excited about. So that might be attending board meetings, that might be working in the children's garden, that might be helping me in the office. There's lots of different ways that you can engage in our programming that isn't just in gardens. So that's, if you're really excited about composting at a certain garden, you can just keep going and add those 10 hours to whatever you're excited about. So that's 40 hours altogether. And then at the very end of the year, all of those things need to be logged in and all ready to go. And then those interns get offered a certification at the end of the year, and we have a little party and we look at pictures and we share all the different projects we worked on. And that's what we're doing right now. The class of 2022 is wrapping up their year, and we're going to offer them the certification, and we'll have a little party. And then when you move into the next year, so that would be January 2024, you'll be a certified master gardener, and then you'll be held to that standard of the 25 hours and 10 hours of CE. We don't use the language of CE for interns because your academic training is all learning, right? And then we use the language of continuing education, or CE, as a way to maintain your learning. Okay, this feels like a good time to ask questions. I was going to get into our learning platform. I'm going to get into a little bit more of those details and how that's going to work, but some questions that are kind of burning, if anyone has anything. Yeah, Karen asked when the final exam is. Oh, good question. I didn't really get into this. I think I might actually be a little bit later in the slide, but the entire Canvas or learning platform is designed to be attached to our Zoom calls and our lectures. So you're going to learn about botany, and you'll do all those quizzes and those assignments, and then you'll also get a lecture on botany. But technically, the entire academic platform on Canvas, you can do whenever you want. You could just bust it out the first week and finish your final exam and then just coast and listen, to all the lectures. Or you could wait all the way to May 29th and finish it all then. There's no regulation on that. It just needs to be finished by May 31st. And I'll show you kind of how we organize it so it is easy to chew and kind of goes along. But we had people who finished the final exam, in April, and that was how they did it. But you all are adults and you can choose what works for you. Any other questions? Generally, we'll get into some more nitty-gritty details. Oh my gosh, there's so many people here. I didn't even see how many folks already arrived. Okay, we're doing good on time. Here we go. So online learning platform, here's a picture of generally what it looks like. It looks like a textbook. The chapters have different diagrams, they've got vocabulary. So like I said, the learning platform is called Canvas. There's like a chat box portion of it, and you'll be logged into it in November. So you'll have all of November to January to kind of click around and read and explore it. There's a chat in there. You can also email me. So if people are kind of having questions like, wow, I don't know how to access any of this, you'll have some time to kind of warm up to it. You do get a full color 640-page training manual. So these are pictures, these are screenshots from that manual. You will get a USB drive as someone who's accepted into the training. You could also buy it. I can't remember how much it is. It's a big manual, so I think it's like maybe up to $100. Or you can download each PDF as you kind of go. And I know some people do want those chapters to be printed out. So that's up to you if you wanted to print it out, if you want to download and print it out. So each module consists within the Canvas platform. There is WSU faculty doing lectures on YouTube. There are chapter readings. There's other videos. There's like little word puzzles and exercises. None of that is required. The quizzes are required and the final exam are required, but everything is there to kind of give you that full breadth of knowledge. So yeah, all the quizzes are based on the chapter manuals. They're not based on our lectures. So if we're getting a lecture from someone at UW, the quizzes are not based on what the lectures are. You can stop and go. Okay, yeah, so the classes and the lectures that will be on Zoom call, just like this, are just ways for you to really engage in your county. So the manual is statewide. So people in Spokane are taking that same manual, right? They're learning those same things. So then the Zoom calls that you get are really specific to Pierce County. You'll be learning about food banks that we have. You'll be learning about arborists in our county. You'll be learning about our actual program, our composting programs. You'll be learning about the different recommendations that we make for our county. And it's also a way to engage with other master gardeners and learn just the unique programs and policies we have at the county level. So that's the learning platform. Here's a sneak peek, never shown to anyone, of generally what the syllabus looks like. So you see our first day of school is on January 13th, and then you can kind of see the subject here. So you'll be hearing from our state coordinators. She'll be talking about our program. You'll be hearing about the history of our program. I'll be talking about the county program. And then January 20th, you can kind of see those are highlighted in gray. I called them program trainings because we're really going to be talking about the county program. We'll be talking about, for that first day, we'll be talking about the training that you're engaging in. And then the days in between those are just lectures. So it'll be just a lecture on plant biodiversity. So you'll be learning about just botany, or you'll be learning just about plant identification. Those will be academic, heavy, rich days. And then you'll have our program and open labs. Oh, and we'll do our program training where you'll learn about our program, but then you'll also have a couple hours where you can engage with each other as interns. You can connect with your mentor. We can play games, more of kind of a social online Zoom dynamic. So those I have them all categorized by our program priorities and kind of which chapters are paired together. So the expectation is that for February 3rd, the lecture is on soil health. It would be helpful for you to have those chapters under your belt. It's not required. You could read them afterwards, but generally speaking, those are the ones that we want to kind of start checking off as we go. All right, let's see, any other notes I have here? And like I said, the Zoom calls are recorded and they are emailed out. And oftentimes I'll email the recording out and then I will email out the slide deck of the lecture, and I'll also email out any handouts or links. Oftentimes people will be in the chat and say, oh my gosh, I totally heard about this amazing compost resource. I would collect that up and make sure everyone has all those. Yeah, so if Fridays aren't doable, you can watch them on your own time. We would let some people work on Fridays, but they could sneak in on their work day 8 o'clock to 10 and log into the call and watch some of it live, but then have to scoot out. So I'm not taking attendance. I am gonna be looking around and be like, well, I haven't noticed Dottie hasn't been here in a while. I'm gonna check and see, if Dottie's okay and she has all the links, things like that. So I'm not taking attendance. I'm not checking any of that stuff. The expectation is that you are engaging in all of the knowledge that you purchased and that you're engaging in our community and you're engaging in the learning. So if Fridays aren't doable, you won't be able to attend those calls live, which is a choice that you have to make about how you want to engage in the program. So you'll be able to watch those recordings. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. Okay, so then we have our intern classes, like I said. Something that is optional is our annual plant sale, which is really, really fun. It's when all of the Master Gardeners kind of come out of the woodwork for spring, and they throw a huge plant sale at the Extension Center. And that's a time when we really do need all Master Gardeners to come and show out and support. So that kind of lands towards the end of your academic training and is a really good time to get your little intern badge and get out there and meet Master Gardeners and really be a part of the action. So that technically is an in-person day, but it's also optional. So that's on April 28th and April 29th. So that's kind of a good dip your toes in and kind of meet everybody. Then, like I said, May 6th at the Puyallup Demo Garden, which is across the street from the Extension Center. May 13th, that next weekend, is at the Gig Harbor Demonstration Garden. And then I am putting on here a May 20th half day, which is also a Saturday, to do kind of an open house tour. So offering all of our community gardens and our community spaces to go drive around and go visit the Bonnie Lake one, go visit the one out in Tacoma, and making sure that Master Gardeners are in those gardens ready to greet you. So that'll also be an optional day. That's a lot of driving. I'm not going to require it, but I just definitely want to offer it to folks because I know that's something people are really excited about and sometimes can get lost in the shuffle. Okay, so those are our in-person days. This is a picture of our interns this year learning about rain gardens at our demonstration garden in Puyallup. Okay, so then this is the breakdown again of your internship, just the internship project and also any kind of volunteer service. Sometimes it can be virtual, sometimes the meetings are virtual, so you'll be able to do them from home. There's some projects that you can do from home if you're someone who's working and you need a little bit more of a remote accessibility. There will be things like that, but most of our communities are activities are hands-on, on weekends, and during the day. It is new for us to have a virtual training, and so it's also we're getting a lot of new interns who are working during the day or taking care of family or elderly family members, and so it is, to be really transparent, it is new for us to have working Master Gardeners. So it is a little bit of a growing edge to recognize, oh, we need to have opportunities on the weekday after 5 or later on Saturday or things like that. So definitely something I'm pushing for as someone who works and likes to be in the garden, making sure that we have opportunities that are well-rounded and meet everyone's needs. So that is kind of just a note on intern projects and volunteering for that. Oh, look at this cute picture. This is our 2022 interns this year after their day at the Puyallup Garden. So that's a cute example of some of the folks who were able to show up for the intern tour at Puyallup. So I think I did it perfectly with about 10 minutes to answer questions, anything I missed. I know I just kind of like blasted through all that information. Let's see here, I'm going to stop my share so we can see all your beautiful faces. Let's see here. So I have some questions. Do intern choice activities have to be completed in Pierce County? Everything has to be completed in Pierce County. So if you become a Pierce County Master Gardener, everything you do has to be done in Pierce County. If you are living on the Pierce County line and you're really close to Kitsap and your kid goes to school in Kitsap and your family lives in Kitsap, it might be smart for you to become a Kitsap Master Gardener, even though you live on the Pierce County line. It really just depends on how far you want to drive and what your capability is to be in our county for our events. We have some people who live in Pierce County but are always in King County. Their family lives in King County, they participate in King County, and that's totally fine. But all of your volunteer hours should be only contributed to Pierce County. That way we can calculate the data of how many people we reach, how many opportunities we provide for a county. Sometimes we will do cross-county activities together, but it's still logged as Pierce County. How many certified Master Gardeners are in Pierce County? So right now we are doing that renewing of everyone's certification. So we're saying, oh, you've got 24 hours, you need 1 more hour to get your certification, but we are at 300 plus. So yeah, we've got a lot of them. And it's been the pandemic has thrown everybody through a loop, right? So there's been lots of changes and lots of new things that we're really working hard to make sure everyone has all the support for. But yes, we've got a big county. I think along with Snohomish and King and Spokane, we got one of the biggest counties. So we're really proud of that. And we're just really excited for our birthday next year. Any other questions about the program in general or the training or anything like that? We have more than 10 minutes for questions. You can unmute. And I'm going to pull up the applications and see if anyone has questions to see if I received their application. And I can also put the link to the website of where the application is if you haven't applied yet. So in the new class, I haven't accepted anyone, but we have 54 applications right now. And the cap really just depends on how many master gardeners I get to sign up to support me in the program, right? Because I can't manage everybody. And I go through each application to read about why you're excited about the program, and just kind of make that choice based on volunteering. So I don't know how many are going to be in there, but usually there is kind of like a 45-50 kind of number for our classes. Okay, so there's the link to the website. It had our Zoom link for this call, and I'll also put the recording in there. And then the application packet that just is regurgitating everything I said, because I really just want to make sure that people know what they're signing on to, but then the application link is in there as well. Okie dokie. Any other questions? I'm going to go through and see which names I got on here because I know people were asking. Questions about our timeline, questions about requirements. We have current master gardeners, so if you have questions you want to ask them, I'm sure they wouldn't mind answering. All right, Trish. All right, either I did my job really well, so there were no questions, or let's see here, 54 of y'all. If we don't have questions, I would love to hear if you want to unmute or type into the chat how you heard about the program, how you heard about our program, and maybe what you're excited about. Yeah, good question about community affiliations related to horticulture. So the question is really not a judgment on, how much time you've contributed to horticulture. It's more about volunteering and community engagement. So if you have, if you're part of the Native Plant Society or not, or the library, it really could be, community affiliations to horticulture. And I think the next question is any kind of volunteering that you've done in the past. So because we are such a We are so focused on making sure that folks are engaged in our community and that they have the skills to be community educators. It is definitely not an isolated job. You are engaging with large amounts of people. You're engaging in problem solving and teaching and communication. So those are the kinds of things I'm looking for in an application. You're a Master Gardener in Maine. That's amazing. We had just had our state conference for all of our Master Gardeners to come, and also all the coordinators throughout the state. But right before that, all of the coordinators went to Georgia and did the big national conference. I did not go to Georgia, but they met all sorts of Master Gardeners from all over the nation. That was really exciting. Awesome. Yes, lots of learning. You will, if you become a part of our community, you will meet so many people who are just excited to learn and excited to talk about just the bizarrest little tiny details of niche kind of, garden culture. Yes, awesome. Yeah, I think that's the other thing, is that, folks who have been coming to gardening events over the years, recognize, it takes the right kind of timing in life to be ready for it. But I know folks who just kind of want to just step that up because they've been a part of the community for so long, but really want to just like get into it and get trained, is definitely a choice. And then I always say, if folks are, if it feels like this is like too much to bite off, like it's a lot, it's a big time commitment, the academic portion feels a little nerve-wracking, our whole program is about teaching for free. This is one of the only things we charge money for. So I always really want to point out to folks that this is not the only way that you can engage in our programming. In fact, there are hundreds and hundreds of more ways to engage in our programming. So yeah, I always want to reiterate that. Awesome. Yes, 20 years ago, I feel like I always wanted to be a Master Gardener, and I never became a Master Gardener. I became the coordinator first. And now I don't have any time to be a Master Gardener. But I get to hang out with all of them and do all the learning. Awesome. Okay. Amazing. Any other questions? I'm gonna stop recording. And then folks can stay on and ask more questions specific to themselves, or you can scoot out and we'll see you next time.